because it
live.
does not meet the requirements of human authorship. Federal courts have
All right,
affirmed the
shut your ass
Copyright
up,
Office.
Derek. Hey, we live, bro. Go ahead, DJ.
Are we live? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Hold on.
Hold on,
I
damn.
ain't even know, bro. I was over here. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. Yep. Yeah. There ain't no way you could do it. Anyways, welcome to the Inner Circle podcast. We back in this bitch. You know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Two Times, my boy Red, and my boy Forever Young. We back in this thing. If you tune in at a later time, hey, go ahead and make sure you hit this like button and that subscribe button. If you coming in while we watching, I mean, you probably ain't gonna see this anyway, so don't really matter what I was finna say. But today we got a cool little episode, man. Something a little different, off pace of what we normally do, how we try to structure our things, have topics, relevant topics, blah, 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 blah. Today we gonna talk about our book. If you looked at our last stream, y'all see us talk about the book. Y'all seen that banter and how that shit went. Today we gonna talk about it because you know what? One thing about me is if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do that motherfucker, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my abilities. And today we're gonna talk about our book. We hope you guys enjoy. Please look out for the book. I'm sure when we're all done, we're gonna let y'all know where to find it at. You know, go ahead and support us anyway, any means, because you know we gonna hustle. You dig? Anywho, shit, I don't know how to transition into how we want to talk about the book.
Well, I
I
want
don't
to
know if
say some
anybody already
things
got
real
something to
quick.
say. What's up?
So, first of all, it's not just a book. We each individually are writing our own book, and
Right. I was
that's
talking
the
about us
thing.
individually in our own book.
Yeah, but so I think it's funny how that came out of, especially because like we were
Yeah.
just on the podcast. If y'all watched the last podcast, and we were just bullshitting, talking shit. This is how it always is with us. Like we'll be bullshitting, talking shit
Yeah.
about each other, and next thing you know, we're in a competition doing something. And you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
of course.
So now at this point, it got to the point where I'm like, well, I can write a book better than you. And this nigga's like, nah, you a bitch ass nigga. I can write a book better than you. And now we're all
Yeah.
in this motherfucker writing fucking full ass on books, which is
Let me
Novels, nigga.
let
We're
me
not
say
no, we're
this.
not just writing
Let
books. We're writing novels. Let me say that. We're
Yeah,
writing
we are
novels.
writing novels.
yeah,
But
We're
let
not
me
writing
say
books.
this, and for context, I did start my book before them, right?
That is
And
true.
that
That
was
is
kind
true.
of a preface to what was going on. But at the same time, like I was kind of procrastinating. I didn't have all of the information, and thankfully, we did have this conversation on the last podcast
Yeah.
because in the last 7 days, let's say last 7 days,
7
I've
days.
gained a lot more information on things because I wrote my book, and then I'll show the chat. I wrote my book in paper, pen, and a binder.
and
You
blood.
right? It's like what am I gonna do? Take it to someone and pay them to type everything I have like and so I it started the process of me typing it and I gathered a lot of information because I'm not technologically savvy. So honestly, like us having this conversation on the last podcast really gave me a lot of information to propel what I had already done forward.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Because we are about advancement. One thing I like to say is at the end of the day, if you get 1% better, you're doing a
yeah,
good job. 1% better
absolutely.
every day. You know what I mean? You ain't got to level up 50%, 20%, at least 1%. You know what I mean? Make your time here worth it. Yeah, I mean, and I ain't gonna lie. As we talked about in other streams, I don't fuck with books. Like I read books for knowledge, not pleasure. I don't really read books. That's time I really picked up a book that I had to read for pleasure. I was in high school reading shit like Of Mice and Men and To Kill a Mockingbird and shit like that.
Mhm.
Shit that I had to read. You know what I mean? But as I've been writing this book, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm really intrigued with maybe it's just because it's mine, and that's what got me like. But I'm probably gonna read this motherfucker three, four, five, six times. You know what I mean? This is the kind of shit I love. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it this much, but at the end of the day, it's creativity, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be in the science lab, goddamn cooking up goddamn chemicals and shit, but you can see me creating something. And then, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, this has been a good journey, man. I can't wait to see where this goes, man. I'm already thinking about a part two. I'm thinking about a film, man. I want to shoot a movie for it. I'm like, man, this is a Spike Lee joint. So,
But at
you
the
know what I
end of
mean?
the
Hey, if
day,
y'all watching,
we
50
know.
Cent hit me up, somebody.
At the end of the day, we know who's gonna have the best book, and that's gonna be
Yeah,
this guy
me.
right here.
Me.
And
And
shit.
you know what's crazy is that my book gonna be better. It's gonna be done first. It's gonna be
Okay.
out first on the ebooks where people can get it. It's gonna have an audio book for it before yours. It got cover photos. It got photos. Cause you know what? I'm a person that works smarter, not harder. You feel me?
Yeah, whatever. my book
You feel me?
is gonna be better. And we're gonna get we're definitely gonna get into our storyline. So we're gonna explain what each of our books is about a little bit. You know, we're not gonna give away all the details. Definitely want y'all to check it out. But we're definitely gonna do an overview of each one of our books, and that's basically what this podcast is gonna be today. We're gonna be asking questions about each other's book and shit like that. So y'all stay tuned with us. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all have any questions y'all want to ask us, if y'all hear something you want to know something, just let us know in the comments.
And I do want to note this too. When I came up with this book, that shit was off the whim. I did not pre-think of this concept that I had to write this book.
This nigga literally came up with the book idea, and Young was like, "Well, explain this and explain that," and he just off the top of his dome just explained this like, "Oh, this is
a full-blown story."
And the nigga created a whole fucking book like that.
Created a whole book off of it. Man. That shit was crazy. Because he put me on the spot. And like that's crazy because the first time he was like, "Well, shit, what the book was about?" I was like, "Nigga, I was playing. Nigga, I wasn't really serious." He was like, and you know what? And I ain't gonna lie, Young, I appreciate you, bro, because he was like, "Nah, fuck that. Nah, you write a book. What the hell is that gonna be about?" Yo. And then you know what I mean, put me on the spot. And then because once I got the idea out, I was like, "Oh shit, that's right." After we got our stream, I went to my wife like, "Hey, I'm finna write a book." First thing she had, "What's it gonna be about?" I was like, "Damn, hold on." He ain't gonna ask me why I want to write a book or nothing. He ain't gonna ask me no background questions. I'm a storyteller now. Come on, man. You know what I mean? But then like I told her what it was about, and she was like, "It's not that bad." You know what I mean? Yeah. Then I wrote the first 2-3 chapters. She read it. I read it to her or let her read it. 2-3 chapters. She was like, "That's actually pretty good." I let somebody else read it because like I wanted to make sure I didn't get too far and that shit was trash. And I just put in all this time and effort when I could be putting time and energy into something else. But like the people that I shared it with and they read it was like, "Yo, that's actually pretty good." So I'm gonna take this shit and run with it and see what happened with it, man. This shit is wonderful.
Absolutely.
But we know who the GOAT is. But yeah, now let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with Young, just because I know DJ already been doing a lot of talking in this video already. So let's go ahead and start. Let's start with Young, and Young. Let's hear it. And only reason I want to start with Young because I personally am like really invested in Young's book. I need this nigga to finish it so I can read it. It's definitely
for sure.
So let's start with Young, do a little overviews, talk about whatever, and we're going to ask you some questions that we want to know about it.
I'm going to do a preface to the situation before I do the overview chat. The reason why I started writing a book was because I had bought a book that was a New York Times bestseller, and I was excited about it. I was like, I like reading whatever it was. And I started reading it, and the book was ass. It was ass. It was terrible. I was upset. I got about 100 pages in. I try not to judge any books. Until you're at least 100 pages in. You have to give them 100-page benefit of the doubt. And it was terrible. I was mad I spent money on this book. It was like $25. I was pissed. And I was complaining. When my homeboys was like, "Well, let me get the book. Once you're done, I'm going to read it." But I gave it to him. I didn't even want to finish it. And then I came and got it back from him. Was like, "Nah, I spent money on this. I'm going to finish reading it." So I was complaining. And he was like, "Well, I'm tired of hearing you complain about it." He was like, "If you think you can do a better job, then write your own book."
Same shit you did to me the whole time.
Yeah, same shit I did to you. So I was like, all right, I was like, if this is a New York Times bestseller, I for sure can write a better storyline plot. I can for sure do something better than this. So that's what started my book. And, I grew up in the age of Harry Potter, Twilight, all that stuff. So vampires, wizards, all of those things is kind of the genre of fantasy that I would read. Also read all types of books, right? I read everything, but that was kind of the area of where I wanted to write my book. So I kind of wanted to change the thought process of what vampires were and what magic users or wizards were or magicians. So my book is kind of like a huge drama between the Alliance or a bunch of different classes of wizards, and each one is different. And vampires, and each class of vampires is different, right? When you think about the vampires in movies and books and stuff, you see like the vampires on the underworld that are like, they kind of look like Lord Voldemort a little bit, like reptilian and like all of this stuff. So I felt like, what if all vampires weren't the same, right? What if there were some vampires that were just like the Count Dracula type of vampires, the in theory, and then what if there were some also vampires that were like the Twilight version of vampires, the Edward Cullens and all those guys that are like vampires, but they don't really want to harm people, and I built a whole dynamic around the different classes of vampires, and they're at war with each other essentially. They're and the vampires can use magic as well, just as the magicians, and the magicians are at war with the vampires. But the alliance is broke up into four different groups, and the strongest kind of magicians, they're holding secrets for some reason. They're only in a truce or an alliance. They're only in a truce with the alliance to fight against the vampires. Everything else, they're keeping secrets. They're not allowed to come into each other's territories. They won't do a lot of stuff, and it's a big drama building up about why they're doing this, and frankly, where did they come from, right? Because they were magicians, relatively new to the alliance and stuff like that. So I built the drama around that. Like, first of all, different vampires are at war with different vampires, and all magicians and all vampires are at war with each other. But yet the alliance isn't at war with each other, but there's like grumbling. There's a bunch of stuff, and essentially, in books like Harry Potter and stuff, they have wands and stuff. In mine, they use stones, right? It's like a rock, a stone that they find around these different places, and in order to, what the stone does is everything has magic in it, right? Essentially everything has magic in it. What the stone does is it channels the magic into the stone, it absorbs it, and then you can then use the magic from the stone. So essentially it would be like a wand in Harry Potter, but instead of having full access to spells and everything you want to do, you have to like charge the stone and all of those things. And it's actually a play on of why the vampires are attacking the alliance, because the alliance has the territory where these stones are at, and frankly, the vampires, if they were to get access to the stones, it cripples the alliance. You can't use magic anymore. So
So
it's a
there's
huge
not
war.
stones like
And
all over the place. It's just like in a certain area.
no, they're just found in certain areas, and
Okay.
there's different types of stones, right? And there's different types of magic. So Caleb, which is my main character, he's a magician, but he has the strongest magic known to the magicians, which is black magic. And other magicians use things like elemental magic and certain things like that, where they can manipulate elements. They can do those things. But the black magic is just, imagine pure destruction, right? The absence
Yeah.
of life. So if
Dark
black
magic.
magic attacks you, there's one thing of, like, you can get shot and live, but or you can get poisoned, right? Which one would you rather? You might die both ways, but if you get shot, you're probably gonna die quicker. If you get poisoned, it's gonna be a quick and terrible death, and that would be like the essence of black magic. It's just like pure torture and pain. So so Caleb, his family is they all and the magic that you use, you can't change or do use something else. It's just you're born with it. So when you develop the ability to use magic, it's your magic will be expressed, and then black magic is dominant. But the vampires kill anyone that uses black magic, right? If you use black magic, you go to war or whatever, they'll ignore everyone else, right? They will only attempt to kill people using black magic. Why? Because the quicker we get rid of you, we can win the war faster. It doesn't matter how many of the vampires you kill, as long as they kill who's ever using the black magic,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't matter anymore. They're now stronger than the rest of the magicians. So it's a play on of that. I don't want to go into too much information or use too many details because again, I don't have all of it, the rights copyrighted. But if I were to pitch the book, I would say it's a big, it's first of all, it's a war, but it's a big drama between realistic perspectives of when you put a bunch of people together, even if they have the same goal, there's differences, right? There's drama, and then this drama, it's violent, it's deadly. You're at war with what they call the vampires or the leeches or whatever it might be, and all of the magicians hate vampires. They're determined to kill them, all of them, even the ones from what I call the Gammon Coven, which is just a coven of vampires. They're extremely weak. They don't kill humans. They don't drink human blood. They would live off of other substances. they even kill them, right? And they're not even a threat. It's just you're a vampire. You deserve to die. And then the second aspect of the book follows a girl from a girl named Megan from the Gammon Coven, and she has a daughter. She's a young woman. She has like a 5-year-old daughter, and she's trying to teach her daughter how to survive because the Gammon Coven has to run from the vampire clan, which is the strongest of the vampires, because the vampire clan feel like you're a disgrace to the vampires. You're not like the vampires should rule the world in essence. They should be above the humankind. They shouldn't have to hide from them and all of those things. And they're refusing to accept their right as a vampire. They want to live amongst the humans like they're a human. So the vampire clan will kill the Gammon Coven the same way. If the Alliance sees the Gammon Coven, you're a vampire, they'll kill them. So the story follows her perspective of her with her daughter, and she's trying to train her daughter how to run and how to hide and how to use her magic to protect herself. But she's doing it from the perspective from the Alliance territory, because she's teaching her it's better if we're discovered, if we're caught, it's better to be caught in the Alliance territory because we're vampires, they'll just kill us, than to be caught or discovered in vampire territory because they'll enslave us, they'll torture us, they'll like essentially they'll be so cruel to us because we're a disgrace to what they view the vampire should be. So her perspective, it's like a life of running. She's trying to teach her young daughter how to hide and all this stuff, but her daughter is actually a lot stronger than she is. And everyone from the Gammon Coven essentially would be viewed as weak because they don't do those things that would make their power stronger. A sense like drinking human blood and all of those stuff. So essentially, it's so we're following the story of Caleb from the strongest. He's one of the strongest magicians from the strongest class of the magicians, and we're following the story of Megan, which is one of the weakest vampires, and from one of the weakest classes of the vampires. And it's gonna clash in a big way, but that's the most information I can give right now. What you think? What you think about the storyline?
That was a lot of words.
It was a lot of words. I'm sorry, I went longer than what I should have, but give me here, we'll do from each person. Give me one thing you like, one thing you didn't like, and any suggestion you could put on after that.
Go ahead, DJ.
I mean, I'll say one thing I like. I could see your passion behind your book, which is already going to make your book a great book. Because you're going to put your passion into it. So I definitely like that. I will say one thing. I'm not gonna say there's really anything I didn't like. Really, I'm not really into that fantasy shit. Like it's cool and all, but
so you could just say that like it was fantasy. I didn't like the fact it was fantasy, right? You can.
Well, I mean, I guess.
Keep it real.
But it sounds like a good book. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like a good book. It's just I personally won't read it because it sounds like a lot of words that I wouldn't want to read that are together. You feel me?
Yeah, it's like a subject you're not interested in.
Right. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but I will say one thing that you could do better. I haven't read your book, but I will say if you are going to make a book that like in depth of the storyline, make sure that you have some great dialogue that's not too lengthy, but just enough to like pack a punch and hint what you're saying. And I think with the kind of thing that you're getting at, just putting visuals into words is going to be your strongest suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's going to be that's if you could do that and manage to successfully like paint the image for the reader as they're reading that they can imagine on whatever's going on. Because I mean, of course, I'm sure there's a lot of gory things that are happening and things of those nature. You know, people fighting and things. You got to like you. I mean, even something cool if you put sound effects, pow, ping. You know what I mean? You know,
yeah, for sure. Like
to break up the
yeah,
to break up the information dump that you'll be given throughout, because it sounds like a lot of information is going to be within that book.
There is. I mean? It's a lot of ground to cover, just so people have the right visual and perspective.
Right, exactly.
That's one thing.
Sure.
Definitely has some humor in there too.
Oh, there's a lot of humor. One thing I'll say about it, it will make you laugh. It's quite hilarious, but it's also dramatic. It's like not a comedy, but it's like a real life perspective of like people at war.
Right.
It's like a life of war, but imagine like you still have to find your peace, your self identity.
It's like a POV of a person at, you know what I mean, type of shit.
and the book
So
is written.
is it first person or third
it-
person written?
it's written from first person. Every aspect is there's every aspect is from the perspective of said character. So
Okay.
sometimes, so when I'm writing the book, it's not, you know how some books will be like, and then Thomas walked this way. It's written from like a third person perspective.
Right.
My book is all written from first perspective, so it's really going to give a relational
That's
aspect
tough.
where you can kind of make yourself put yourself in said person's shoes. And each character has a distinct character quality, and their perspective always follows that person's life, right? How they feel. So it's going to be written. One part of the book will say one thing, and another part of the book will say, it'll seem like it's saying the absolutely different thing. Well, the thing about that is everyone's perspective on life is different. So one person will see the world one way, one person will see it differently. Even though they're seeing the same thing, they'll have two different interpretations of what's going on. So that does happen frequently in the different perspectives, especially from the magicians and from the vampires.
All right. Okay. Hell yeah.
For sure, for sure.
Hell yeah.
So one question, what you say you're not really into fantasy type things. What aspect do you think could draw you into reading or enjoying a fantasy book? My fantasy book in particular.
Your fantasy booking. I mean, like I said, I mean the type of shit that I'm into is like crime and drugs and money and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's the type of
So
shit
add some
that
type
I'd be
of
into.
drugs.
Not even that. Okay, add some type of wider spread relativity.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean versus because that it sounds like the book is. I'm not gonna and like it's all constructive, you know what I mean? But it sounds
Mhm.
like the book is like focused towards a narrow audience versus being something that's more
Well,
more spread out.
well,
You know what I
you
mean? Like
definitely
a
want
bigger
to.
blanket.
Well, like how you want the book to go, you want to write to that genre of audience. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
100%. I'm not saying that
Because
he should.
like if you're like writing a fantasy book, which I'm writing a fantasy book, I'm not gonna be able to appease like realistic people who want like, you know what I'm saying, like
You
niggas.
could. I mean, you could add realistic
No,
aspects to it.
like, well, that's what I'm saying. But like, at the end of the day,
That's like hold on.
Mhm.
That's like they come out with a show, right? It's a show about fantasy and magic and shit like that. Okay. What's going to incline me to watch it? One, is just a show about fantasy and magic and drama. Two, it's a
They
show
put some
about
titties in
fantasy,
the show.
magic, and drama and drugs and money. You feel
They
me?
put some titties in the
It's
show.
like,
You gonna watch
you
it?
know what I mean? That's the type of shit, because that's the type of shit that that's the type of shit I grew up watching. You know what I mean? I don't really watch TV, so that's the type of shit I grew up, unless it's cartoons. That or cartoons. That's one two things. So if you draw a cartoon, I'm with it. Like, oh, look it out. Fucking I don't know shit. Picture books. Something I don't know shit. But yeah, I mean that's just not my style, my cup of tea. I don't really watch fantasy TV either. I mean, unless it's about fucking superheroes. I like superheroes. They cool. But I don't really watch fantasy TV. You know what I mean? I'm usually watching comedies and shit like that. Or if I'm watching TV at all, I usually don't even watch TV.
Right.
yeah,
Again, I understand what you're saying, but I also understand what Red's saying. Frankly, if you're not into said genre, there's nothing really you can do.
Yeah,
'cause,
no,
like,
yeah,
at
to
the
pull me
end of
in.
the
Yeah.
day, at the end of
You
the
can
day,
add some details trying to get someone to come to broaden your audience,
but only
But that's
but
not your
frankly,
but
audience.
they still
right,
have to
not
read the book
everyone
to
is going.
get those
There's a lot of
details,
people
though.
that will not read an urban novel, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
matter how much details you add. If it's an urban novel, there's a group of people that will refuse to read it. They just won't read it. They'll
100%.
pick it up and put it down. Wouldn't give it a chance a day. And it's not because whatever. It's just they just don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to.
just not what they own.
And so obviously there's some ways you can broaden and bring it in a more audience, but I do believe like um the storyline, the plot, like I tried to punch in as much details as I could so you understand what's exactly going on. But the storyline is solid. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Like I'm super excited about it.
Okay, let me
you
ask
have
you
a really
this.
good storyline.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Same question you asked me. Is this something that you turn into a movie? If so, who would be playing the main character?
Okay. I like it. I like it. So I wasn't prepared for my question to come back at me, but yes,
Yeah.
it is prepared for a movie script. I'm kind of generating it to where it's interesting and a lot of the aspects follow along like a cinematic perspective. If I had to choose an actor, it's gonna have to be someone young. So I'm gonna go Tom Holland, Spider Man.
Spider
Think
Man.
he would be good. And then if I had to go with the mother, I'm just gonna go with Zendaya because I said Tom Holland, Zendaya as the
That's
vampire,
okay.
raising her
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
young daughter. The
I
daughter
thought you
is
talking
like
about bro's mom. I was like, that's weird, but okay.
no, Rose mom.
Well, yeah. The other girl. Yeah, I'm sorry. You said a lot of words. But yeah, I'm
Sorry,
About the
I'm
main
gonna go with
character's
Zendaya
mom.
as Megan.
yeah.
Zendaya as Megan. Imagine a young mother, scared. She's a vampire. She's being hunted by vampires. She's being hunted by wizards, and she knows that she's going to die soon. She doesn't have anywhere else to run. She's ran out of places to run, and so her last resort is to teach her daughter how to use her magic to help her hide
You're right.
for as much longer as she can because eventually she's going to be killed, right? And so that's the perspective from the Zendaya actor, which is from the Megan, from the Gammon coven, or and then from I'd like a young kind of actor from the Alliance. Like I want him to be a person that can like kind of sell the fact like I'm being taught by my elders to
Oh.
hate vampires. I'm being taught by them that we have to kill them all, and I'm being taught to withhold information from the rest of the alliance. Um, I need to change some names, especially from the class of vampires that the class of wizards they are. The names I chose, I feel like I should change them. But so imagine an actor like a young male being pressed by the peers, his older peers from the magicians that are teaching him to hate vampires, teaching him to kill them the best in the most effective way to kill vampires, and also to keep secrets from the rest of the alliance. The people that you're supposed to be in alliance with, you can't tell them why you're doing what you're doing. You can't tell them how to kill the strongest vampires in case they learn and decide they don't need us anymore. So imagine a situation like that, but at the same time, the battlegrounds, which is the name of the book called the battlegrounds, and it's based around a war that started the alliance and the group of magicians coming together, which called themselves the alliance. The battlegrounds was the place where in the initial the first battle started, and it used so much magic was released in that war that it petrified. Like it's in the scene of like a mountain, right? The rocks, the stones that are used to charge to facilitate the capability to
Hey,
use
man, don't
magic.
give away too much, man. Don't give away
No,
too much,
it's
man.
found it's found
Yeah.
from this mountain, this one mountain, and so the alliance they they built their home base in these mountains, but so much magic was released that it petrified like all living stuff around, right? And so the alliance, the magicians that have the black magic and all of this stuff, they have to go to the battlegrounds, which is the alliance's home base, which they're not a part of. They just kind of associate with them. They have to go there for stones. They have to go there to train and also to do something that's called specializing, which the rest of the alliance doesn't do. It's just this class of magicians, and essentially it's like their body reacting to the magic in the environment, and it kind of causes the magic within them to specialize. So with Caleb, it'll be black magic essentially. So it'll force whatever it is that causes him to use the magic into one specific area, and it'll be black magic. So then from that point forward, once he specializes, he can use that black magic, or he can use the stones to help him use that black magic. And so they're kind of trying to separate from the alliance, but they also have to be around them. They have to interact with them because it's the only way that they can have access to the battlegrounds, have access to the stones, and be able to specialize, which makes them stronger and allows them to progress in the war with the vampires and shit like that. And so imagine this kid like being told um like when we go there, you have no one's allowed to go there unsupervised. You have to be at a certain age and you have to be accompanied by someone else. But imagine him like, we're training you how to do these things, but you when we get there, you can't tell them, you can't show them anything. They're gonna watch you. They're going to make you do all of put you in situations where they can gather as much information as they can from you, and it's imperative that they know nothing, they discover nothing. But the battlegrounds is also a school, so imagine it's where they go to learn about different things and stuff like that. So that's the dynamic. That's cool. That's what's going on. That's the thought process from Caleb. Like why his whole mentality is he's not like his elders. He wants to question things. He's not willing to go along with them telling him what to do. And then so we're gonna follow the story of Caleb as a young man growing in this war with vampires, and we're gonna follow the story of Megan as a young vampire just trying to survive. So
Cool. Well, appreciate it, man. We can't wait for your book to come out.
thank you.
Sounds like
Thank
it's a lot of detail in it. If you a sci-fi book reader lover type of person, make sure you check out his book. What's the you ain't dropping the name?
The Battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds. Okay, yeah. Make sure y'all keep a lookout for the Battlegrounds. When your expected drop time?
Expected drop time. So I will say this: I'm expected to finish the book like completely in a few months, and then I don't want to say there's an expected drop time because I don't. I want to get it edited. I want it to when I do put it out for the public to consume. I want them to have the best quality uh book, or the best, the highest quality they can purchase if I'm trying
Right.
to sell you something. So however long it takes for me to get an editor and do all of that stuff, and I think we all agreed that we should publish it as an ebook first,
Yep.
and then try to find a publisher to actually publish it, to put it in stores or whatever. So I think with this being a competition and we are in competition with each other, I think we should hopefully encourage everyone to try to finish around the same time. I know some of us are farther than the others, but and then we can just put
Red.
a poll up.
Oh, my fault.
We can
Excuse
put
me.
a poll up and see who gets the most, maybe not the best views because they are genre based, but who gets the best reviews for the book, something like that,
I'm gonna go
right?
on DJ and be like, this is a piece of shit.
uh, nah, you can't do that
Nah,
because you
nigga,
could
Yeah.
affect someone else that would
nigga,
purchase
I'm
said.
joking, bro. I would never do
Okay,
no
yeah,
shit like
yeah,
that. But I'm gonna make like 20
absolutely.
fake accounts and shit, go on there, write reviews, like fuck this nigga's book.
He gonna make fake accounts and hype his book up.
He look like a bitch.
So that's my book. It's called The Battlegrounds. I'm gonna aim,
Okay.
if I had to put a time on it, I would say somewhere from 3 to 6 months. Expect it to be on the
God
ebook
damn.
platform.
Yes,
I thought
If
sir.
that's
you
a
plan
good,
on
Yes,
being
sir.
done within the month.
Nah,
I mean, this is
I
this
mean,
is
you could.
this is actually like this is actually something I'm taking seriously. So I want to give it the allotted time required to do, you know, to be a good thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Okay,
you?
cool,
Two
cool.
times, or how? I know you
We gonna
haven't
move
gave
on
your
to me
overview, but
afterwards.
what's your?
I know Red over here itching to
Yeah.
show
We're gonna let Ray
FaceTime.
go
Yeah.
first. But I was gonna say, what's your
Yeah.
expected time for you to publish or release your book? You don't have to go into details right now, but just so we're on the same page as far as like expectations.
I mean, I was on the same thing as you, 3 to 6 months, because I wanted
Okay.
to maybe take a month to write it out, take a little break, go back, revise it, take a little break, go back, revise it one more time, before I put it out and stuff. I mean, if you find an editor that's a decent price, go ahead and let me know. If not, I'm gonna figure something out for the free ski.
Yeah.
Or for something cheaper, shit, I go
So
on Fiverr and find somebody in the Philippines to do it for $30.
When do you have to copyright it? Like before you start getting it edited, before you start working with people.
I mean,
I mean,
I don't think
I
there's
would
really a
get the
timeline.
concept copyrighted first, because if you give it to an editor and they're shady and they think it's a good idea, they could just steal it. Essentially,
Yeah,
They
I
could-
mean, I'm not sure how book copyrights work, but if it's anything like music copyrights, a lot of times that's still your intellectual property. So, like for instance, with music, let's say I put out a song today, right? It doesn't do much, but you hear it, and you're a big time rapper, and you take it and you literally do my same exact song verbatim and put it out and copyright and everything, and I hear it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's my shit. I can go and copyright my song, and as long as I can prove like the timestamp of when it came out versus yours, the fact that it's
Mhm.
my original idea and the similarities, and that I got my copyrights to it now, I could still win the case. Because that's what you got to prove. It's not about who copyrights it first. You know, it's not a
Mhm.
race to who copyrights it first. It's about, can you prove that this is your original piece of work?
Yeah, but with literature, like there's no like with a song, you can say like, well, look, it was posted at this time. You can't prove who wrote said book first if it's just in a physical copy,
Mm,
right?
I mean,
And I think
it
that's where
depends
dilemma might
because I'm sure my Google Docs shows when I started the document.
come. Okay, all right,
And if I know that I went to the said editor, I might have something from this editor. I might, yeah, look, I went to this editor. Here's a receipt for what I paid him for. Here's
mm-hmm.
my book. Here's a timestamp of when I wrote my book. You know what I mean? I went there to pay said guy to edit my book. He took my ideal and he might change the names of the characters and change the names of cities and stuff, but this is my book. Then they're going to look into the similarities on how is it similar, and if they could tell that it's similar and they see that my timestamp is real and blah blah blah, I'll probably win that case
Okay.
because it's an intellectual property. So it's not about I had the ideal first. You can't. So technically, once you have an ideal, it's copyrighted. Might not be necessarily legally copyrighted, but it's copyrighted. So if I sit here and tell you my ideal, I technically, as long as I can prove that was my ideal and you had access to my ideal, then I'm gonna win every time. And that I can have my ideal first, I'm gonna win every time. So
Okay,
keep that
makes
in
sense.
mind.
But
But yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
also that's a lot of work that you would a lot of hoops you have to jump
It
through that
is.
you
It
don't
is.
necessarily want to.
It
So
is.
I would say it's a lot easier just to get the copyright before you send it to an editor.
All right. Yeah, for sure. All right, Red. Let's move on to you, my boy. Go ahead
Let's
and
move on.
describe your book.
All right,
Let's know
wait
what you talking about.
1 second before you go. 1 second. If you're in the chat, if you're seeing this in the chat, drop a comment, give us feedback, tell us what you think about.
Yes, sir.
As we go along, we'll try to read the comments or look back at the suggestions. So that was my book called The Battlegrounds. Would appreciate a like, a follow on the stream, or if you're interested in said book. So, Red, let's move on to you.
Yeah, so my book is called Worldbound. It's basically about this guy. His name's Liam. It's basically about Liam. He was born in an orphan, not born in an orphan. He was raised in an orphanage. Shitty life in his first world. You know what I'm saying? Just couldn't catch a break. Bullied all through his life and everything. He ends up making friends with this dog, and then the dog is about to get hit by a car. Liam ends up saving him, but also costing him his life. And because of his act of selflessness, even though he has such a horrible life, he ends up getting reincarnated to a new world, where it's basically like super like adventure shit like that, going around real big magic, elves, dwarves, dungeons, shit like that. And so when he gets reincarnated into the new world, he ends up like in the middle of nowhere, and then he's just fucking like trying to survive there. You know what I'm saying? He starts leveling up, but like before he gets reincarnated, he meets the goddess. Her name's Ava, and he meets her, and she tells him like that basically she's being his guide to putting him into the new world and everything. And he's able to pick some skills and stuff to help him better like understand the language, shit like that, survival skills and shit like that. And then when he gets there, the main plot is that he hears a story about these S rank adventurers, which is a ranking system. It goes from like A B C D E F G whatever, and he hears a story about these S rank adventurers, how like popular they are, and from him being raised like basically hated and everything like that, he decides he wants to become, an S rank adventurer and shit like that. So basically, the story is just him leveling up, meeting people, forming a party, becoming the strongest in the world, and that's pretty much how that's gonna go. I'm not gonna get too really much into like the storyline and shit, just because I want people to check it out. But yeah.
It's it sounds good. It reminds me of like Dungeons and Dragons, or it reminds me of like a when you say he got hit by a car, like a hallucination of like, how people have near death experiences or something like that, and
Yeah.
then they wake up and be like, oh, I saw this or whatever it was. And when you're saying he was raised in an orphanage and didn't really have friends, it kind of hit me like when he got hit protecting the dog, like he might have like kind of visualized this type of thing, and it might have been a situation that encourages him to like make life decisions to change for the better in the real world. If the second world wasn't actually a real thing, if it was made up after he got hit,
No, it's a real
that's where
thing.
my mind went. Huh?
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's a real thing, but that's just like kind of where my mind went. So if I was gonna say something, that's where if I was a reader of the book, I would be thinking that's in the front back of my mind. I'd be like, at the end of this is all gonna be a dream. Probably this is.
That would be tough, yo.
Nah,
All right,
I
but
think that would be dope, but nah, I'm kind of digging the whole he actually gets transferred just because his life was so shitty, bro. Like, and like he was getting bullied. Like he just
the
had
gods was like, bro, your life's so
Yeah.
bad. I'm gonna
Well, so
create a
like,
whole nother world
for
you."
instance, like now when he said that to piggyback off of that, because I know you want to make multiple books, so like where my mind went after he said that would be a great cliffhanger to where you can lead into the next book to where like Young said he was making life changes, like he ain't had no friends, so now the next book, you know, he outside, like he outside tonight. You know what I mean? He want to be friends, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? He want to
Yeah.
make sure he makes those life changes and do things differently because you remember how he felt when he
Oh, yeah,
died
no.
without friends
Well,
and blah blah blah.
so-
So that's where I was going when he said something. That's the storyline
Yeah.
that generated in my head for part
Nah,
two.
he's definitely
that's
gonna
all I was
meet.
saying.
So I'm gonna build a character base for his party that he's gonna meet, and I know I want to put an elf in there, maybe a dragonkin. I don't know, but like he's gonna meet people along the way, along his journey, and they're gonna become his friends, aka his party, and they're gonna be completing quests together and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm even thinking about like I don't know, giving him a pet character just because how he got so close with the dog in the first life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty cool.
Naming them the same name as you named that dog type shit.
Yeah.
Yo. No, definitely. I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised. I mean, the book ain't bad. It sounds pretty thought out coming from you. So I'm actually pretty surprised. I was, if I had to give anything, and like I said, I'm sure you might already consider this, already thought about this, but I'm just saying in my mind, you know, just in case you didn't, I would say that based off your story plot, don't jump into the new world too soon.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah,
give some context to his life on Earth.
I'm building
You know,
the
make
whole
sure you
intro.
explore that.
Like I said, the
Right,
whole,
yeah.
the whole. So basically, the book starts as him opening his eyes in the new world. Like that's the first thing. It starts as him opening his eyes in the new world, and then it's gonna he's
Go
gonna
back in time.
It's gonna have like flashbacks of
and it's gonna go back in time, showing his life in the orphanage.
How he got there.
Yeah, and how he got to that point. And then
It's gonna pause and be like, I know you wonder why I got to this situation.
So like he wakes up.
Yeah,
like he wakes up. He's like, you know, he's all groggy, whatever, and he's looking around, and he's like, you know, I can't believe I'm in whatever, and then he starts thinking about the past and everything that led him to that moment, and then that's when we go back in time, and it starts off as him as a kid in the orphanage, being bullied and all this shit, Then he ends up meeting the dog. Him and the dog become real close friends. And then one stormy night, you know what I'm saying? Like it was fucking raining and shit, and he's worried about worried about the dog. So he sneaks out the orphanage to go check on him, and the dog sees him, gets all happy, starts running towards him, and a car is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got the whole thing mapped out and shit. I definitely wanted to start it as him in the new world, but it's gonna instant flashback to how he got there, and then like his meeting with the goddess Ava, and then like everything they talked about and everything, and then it's gonna bring us back to him in the new world.
Yeah. I'll say the only thing I'll say to add, man, that's some black character. You sound like you got an all white cast in that bitch.
Well, yeah, one thing I would say to add as well is I'm not getting a time
some diversity,
reference, like a time frame. Like, is this set in the 1900s, the 1600s? Is it set in modern day?
Well,
is it like I'm not catching?
The regular world is going to be set today, but in the new world, it's going to be more Renaissance, magical. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing.
Right, like it's in the future, but it's still like, or is it gonna be like
it's present day, but it's gonna go to the past
type shit? Like the new world's in the past type shit.
No, the new world is gonna be in its time.
But what I'm saying is niggas walking. Oh, okay. It's just a new world. It's a whole new
Yeah, it's
world.
a whole new world.
Going.
He gets transferred to a whole new world, and it's present day
Sounds
in
like
both
goddamn.
worlds. Like his soul.
It sounds like goddamn Black Knight.
Because he died. He dies when he gets hit by the car. He dies.
Right.
And
so when he goes back in time,
he goes back in time.
Is he still him? I mean, well, I'm talking about. Well, I'm saying to the new world, like that's what I mean by back in time. To the new world, you say it's more Renaissance. So to me, that's back in time.
Magic,
right. So what I'm asking is he the same person he was in the real world as he was then?
So he's the goddess. So the reason why the meeting with the goddess is so important is because like another thing I didn't mention, just because like I said, I don't want to give him all the details. Is like in the first world, this motherfucker's like little as shit. He's like 4'11". You know what I'm saying? He's always getting picked on. He's ugly as shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like not, you know what I'm saying? Not appeasing to anyone. And so when the goddess felt pity on him and she brings him into the place before he gets reincarnated, he asks if he can change his appearance to how he wants. And
I don't like it.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't like it. Not the book. No, listen, I don't like that aspect. I think you should keep him the same person, the same size, and then show that
so he got a big heart.
Can change who a person is, right?
I get that, but let me tell you why. Because so I personally have this image, like if I could look like anything in the world, like this is what I would look like. You know what I'm saying? And since it's obviously we live in a real world and I can't do that, like, so I want to give that to my character in the book. And it's something that I've thought about a lot. Like, damn, like if I could look like anything, I'd look like this. You know what I'm saying? Like long curly hair, fucking tall, like 6'4", fucking 6-pack. You know what I'm saying? But like that's something that I thought about, and like I want to give it to my character, and that's how I want him to be. You know what I'm saying? That it's just somehow I want.
It's cool. Like I said, man, I think you have a well thought out book, and you know, what I mean, I think when you actually, if you use those tools I talked about earlier, I think that could really help advance your idea and make your book like bigger than you thought it would be. So I'm definitely excited, you know what I mean, to see how your shit. I mean, I might fuck around and read some of y'all book. I can't guarantee I'd read all of it because I might be.
No, you're gonna have to read all of our books when we finish.
That's crazy. That's like
14. If I'm about to force myself to read your book, because I'm all about fantasy books. So if I got
his book is pretty good actually.
Yeah, but it's not no fantasy book. That's what I'm saying. Like it's something. It's something that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't like your book. It's in genres that I don't read. You know what I'm saying? So
me or him?
DJ.
You.
So if I'm gonna force myself to read your book, motherfucker, you're gonna force yourself to read mine, bitch. Shit.
I think actually, if you read my shit though, you'll like it though.
No,
because
I don't like you.
Because it's not like some fucking drugs, guns, bitches. Like it's not like that, bro. It's like it's telling the actual story. We'll get into that.
I feel you, but I feel like your book is a more realistic shit, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no magic. I mean, niggas ain't doing magic.
His book could be a real life situation. His book could actually happen in real life if it hasn't happened.
I went more so on the relatability aspect. And when I read what I have as far as describing my book, you'll understand what I mean as far as relatability aspect of my book. So I don't know if it's my turn or not.
Yep.
Okay. Bet.
I mean, I could keep shooting comments at Tevin for his shit. Constructive criticism, praises, and all that stuff. But if y'all want to move on, we can go.
I mean, it don't matter. I can read my shit.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna try to. So bear with me because I'm gonna try to take some words out so it flow better because it's for like the back of the book, but flow conversational. But so basically, it says Elijah Knight is a young man with everything: academic success, athletic prowess, and the promise of a bright future. By day, he's the pride of his prestigious school in the outer city, excelling on the football and basketball team while maintaining straight A's. But by night, Elijah steps into a world far darker and more dangerous, one where respect and power comes at a high cost. Drawn to the lure of the inner city, Elijah adopts a new persona, one that doesn't reflect his privilege, upbringing promises, and excitement. One that doesn't reflect his privileged upbringing, but promises excitement and a way to prove himself in a world that feels more real than the perfect life he led at home. As he becomes entrenched in his double life, Elijah struggles with the lies he tells, the people he deceives, and the growing fear that his worlds are about to collide. So the book is where the I was going to take the name of the book out, but since y'all already said y'all's in Shadow Scholar Lessons in the Dark, Elijah's journey takes readers through a web of moral dilemma, friendships, betrayal, and the unrelenting desire to escape the confines of the life that feels too perfect. As Elijah's secret unravels, he is forced to face the consequences of his choices, some which may be impossible to undo. While the tagline, "Some lessons aren't taught in school," this gripping novel explores the complexities of identity, ambition, and the hidden dangers lurking behind the surface of a seamlessly perfect life. Can Elijah continue to balance the two worlds he's created, or will his lies and deceptions lead to a downfall he can't escape? A powerful tale of self-discovery and the dark side of ambition. Shadow Scholar will leave you questioning how far he will go to live. Oh, my contact hooking up. How far he will go to live a life he can never fully control. The real lesson Elijah must learn may be the ones that come too late.
That's a good preface. I like it. Or
So
I don't know if that's preface, but
well, I mean
I
that's
like it.
it's called a
Very good.
blurb. That's what goes on the
Blurb.
back of the book.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that was really good. I mean, yeah, for sure. I didn't create one of those for my book. I just kind of gave details, but bro, that summarizes what I've read so far perfectly.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, you know what I mean. So based off of that, like I said, it's more of a relatability aspect. Like there's things in there motherfuckers can relate to. When you hear some of the dialogue, you can tell it's written by, you know what I mean, by me. Goddamn it, you know what I mean. There's parts in there that are funny, that are something that if like somebody like read some part, he'd be like, oh yeah, I know DJ, but I know this is DJ right here. You know what I mean.
Sounds like
No, it is. You know. Oh yeah,
So
for
give
sure.
me,
It's definitely about black people because I know more about black people than I know about anything else. So it's easier to write about black people.
yeah.
Nigga, you ain't
So
black.
Nigga, what am I?
A bitch.
You're right. I'm not black. I'm brown. But yeah. Any comments, questions, concerns?
yeah, Red, I'm gonna let you go
criticism about my
first
book?
because I have more information on said book than you do.
Like
So
I
if
was
you have
just
any
saying, bro.
questions,
Like it definitely sounds. You know what I'm saying? What's up? Me
what's up, shoes? Welcome to the chat.
personally, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, I'm like really into like fantasy and shit like that. So like to me,
Right.
like it sounds like oh that's what's up, but like to me it doesn't like entice me. You know what I'm saying? Just because like we just have different. You know what I'm saying? We just have different views on books.
Yeah.
Like I, you know, it sounds dope. I feel like it's good. It's a good ass fucking book. It would be a good book, but to me, it's not. That's not something I would read just because I'm all fantasy rainbows and sunshine and unicorns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like Young is more into like the different genres. Me, I only fuck with fantasy. I don't read anything else. Like I don't read
I feel that.
magazines. I don't read anything other than like Harry Potter or Twilight shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have like a lot to say about
I
that.
read
You know what I'm saying?
I read all genres, even educational things. I kind of read a lot of Adolf Hitler's book that he wrote.
Got him.
Nah, because he was a phenomenal. If you look at the most successful speakers or most influential people in the world, he's top, hands down, one of the most influential people ever in the world. One of the most evil people in the world. But he was in prison for his crimes before he committed them because they were like, oh no, you're trying to take over. He got in prison for it. Got out of wrote a book, got out of prison, and then proceeded to do and accomplish exactly what they put him in prison for doing. So therefore, reading his book to me wasn't like a taboo type of thing. It was like a let me understand like how did this happen. So so with me saying that, I read all types of genres. There's not something that I wouldn't read, but I'm gonna keep it in perspective. But with bro, 2 times with your book, bro, I'm super excited. One thing I would say is like a lot of things that help books sell is like love interest. So I know I kind of started to see the love interest at first. I don't know how that proceeded because I think I only read the first 5 chapters or so.
Yeah.
But definitely adding a love interest and multiple love interests like could help the book have a love interest from the inner city
Sure.
and also a love interest from the outer city, and each one is trying to pull him towards
That would be
So,
the
dope.
all
different
right.
aspects
That
of
would
I'm
be
life.
glad you
dope.
said
I
that.
ain't gonna lie.
I'm
Just
glad
from
you
like
said
a
that.
movie
I didn't want to
aspect.
release. Yeah, so I'm glad you said that. So I actually do have something like that coming where there is a love interest. It's actually two love interests. So I think you read the part when they were in the mall, right? And
In the
then the
mall.
cashier said something crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm breaking Shorty back later on. Like it's so, and I also, so really what the book's going to happen is I kind of started off like the first 2 or 3 chapters. It starts off a little bit more slow because I'm giving a lot of backstory on what's going on before I start taking taking the story to the next level. And as it goes, it's just going to unlayer different levels. So the way I formatted the book is basically to be almost like a play. There's 3 acts in the book, and almost every chapter has at least 2 to 3 scenes within that chapter. So that way
Mhm.
it takes you kind of into like a life versus just like a book to where it's like a timeline of this is that. It kind of takes you to the life. First he's here, then he's here, then he goes here, and this is happening here. So then you get to see like just different situations unfold. And then for the first like maybe 6 or 7 chapters is back and forth. By day he's in one place, by night he's in a different part of the city. You know what I mean? Kind of drawing those two dynamics until it gets to a point to where he's because okay, so a little preference. He's like 17. The the beginning of the book kind of takes place like high school, coming out of high school, about to graduate. I couldn't think of a birthday, so I just gave him my birthday, just because it would just been easier for me to realize kind of like when like timeline type of deal as far as him graduating high school. Because I know my birthday being so late in the year, I graduated at 17. So knowing that the character was 17, after I was like, fuck, I want it to where he's getting out of high school and summer vacation is going to start. And then when summer vacation start, that's when shit's going to start because that's about 2 months. And I know that college is coming up right after that. You know what I mean? So I kind of just placed it in the timeline of that perspective using my birthday. But yeah, so like I said, I have a lot of things unraveling. I got a big plot at the end. At first I was going to end the book. I could tell you the ending I was going to have because
Don't ruin the ending.
actually no, I'm not.
Why
But
would you
I got
tell?
a couple of endings
That's
in
why
my.
I didn't even
Well,
talk
because I
about
wasn't
my
going to use
ending
it.
at all.
Well, I wasn't going to use it. That's why I said I was going to switch the ending.
Give a
But
middle to
but
your book right there.
no matter which way I spin it, I'm gonna have to give you some crucial details that happened at the end. But
Mm-hmm.
I do got a couple endings because like after I started writing it and started like actually getting into it, I started picturing it as a movie. So as it goes on, it gets more cinematic, and I wanted to lead into another book to where I can keep writing and make a 6 to 10 episode maybe series of it. Per since I do have so many scenes going on, kind of different locations here and there, and I kind of broke it up in different acts. I can make it into like a TV show, act 1, act 2, act 3 on what's going on type shit and scenes and shit like that. But yeah, I'd want to carry it on because like I was like, bro, this is actually pretty fun, and I'm already thinking about the next book and how I'm gonna start the next book off to lead off from this one. And a lot of things I did in this book that I think helped out with that is a lot of chapters I left off on cliffhangers to where it's like, what happens next, and
Perfect
then the
frame.
next chapter,
Perfect
right,
perspective.
right, and then the next chapter. It might not necessarily start where it let off, but it kind of ties in or refers to that earlier chapter. So then you get a glimpse of time as well, like time lapse instead of me saying 2 weeks went by. You know what I mean? I kind of just use that to kind of show time moving forward and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this book, man. I talk about it to everybody I talk to. You know what I mean? I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to finish it.
I feel like
Chat. One thing I did say is I am charging a 30% discovery fee for all the success of everyone's book. I'm gonna charge myself and pay myself as well
first
for
off,
mine.
first off, nigga,
So
first off, nigga, I have already started this book like 7 years ago.
it
And
doesn't matter.
shit. So it ain't got nothing to do with but this bet did give me the energy to get back into it. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first started writing my book, it was when I first started like moving in California, and I don't know if DJ remembers this, but you remember
I
Bella
remember.
fucked up my notebook, bro. You remember I had like 100 something pages written down, dude.
I don't remember
Like,
how many it was,
I
but
used
I
to
remember
just,
he was
I
writing.
had a big ass notebook, bro, and I used to just always just be in that bitch writing the whole storyline. And I had like 100 plus pages written, like obviously in a notebook, so it probably would have been like, 30 pages in a book on like typed out, maybe, I don't know. But it took a lot of time, and I was super devoted to it for a hot minute. And then like my daughter just fucking comes to the house and fucking just shits on it, bro. Just fucks it up, rips it all up. I was asleep, so I didn't even realize. She fucked it up, bro. The whole book. I'm talking about like she was like pages were all the pages were torn out, colored on and shit. So I just threw the whole thing in the trash and I just never went back to it. And so definitely, I'm glad that we got back into this because I already knew like if I ever was gonna write a book, I already had all this set up. You know what I'm saying that I was already gonna do and shit. That's how I already knew like the plot. Like I already know how this bitch gonna end, start, finish, like middle. I know that's why it was so easy. Like I wrote all the chapters in the storyline in like 5 minutes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew it.
Yeah.
But now I feel like just the hardest thing for me is just taking the work to just type it all out because I'm more old school. I like writing it down. Like I like seeing it. That's why I have this whole like I have a whole fucking you know what I'm saying. Like let me open this up. Like this shit's not even a fucking game. So I'm gonna have like my main book in this one. And then these are just all my edit pages and stuff. Like shit, you know what I'm saying? Like character based. Their skills, the intro, like you know what I'm saying. So I've started. I have a lot of pages done and shit. Like and I like what I do for fun though is like when I'm bored, I build characters. So now I'm like building characters in there. And when I'm like not writing the story, I'm building characters and like skills and shit like that and everything on them. Man. Absolutely. And that's just what I want. I keep going like because I like doing the storyline and I get super invested, but then I'm like, all right, I'm tired of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll switch it up and I'm like, oh, let me build this character because like I told you, he's gonna have a friend base. He's gonna meet friends for the first time in this new world, and he doesn't know how to treat, be friendly. So he like goes overboard, like he's like super like, oh yeah, you're gonna be my best friend, and like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's never had a friend before, and I think the first character I want to bring in is just like someone that doesn't really like Liam, like but they end up like fighting or doing a big battle. I think I might bring him in during the dungeon series, because a few chapters in, I have him going into the dark dungeon to train and shit. And I think he's gonna meet this guy there. Like when they're on the first level, it kind of treats him like shit, basically, of what he's used to. But I'm gonna have it where probably Liam ends up saving his life or something, probably around like the 7th level or something, 7th or 8th level, and then he ends up, like. You saved my life, but that doesn't mean anything. But then, you know what I'm saying, they end up meeting later on. And, it just gradually builds to, like, them actually becoming, like, really close friends and shit. Like, started off enemies, but ends up friends. Which, I named that character, too. His name is going to be James. He's actually going to be an elf character. And just, like, DJ doesn't really know because he doesn't read like fantasy books and stuff or watch anime, but a lot of elf characters, they're like biased towards like humans and stuff like that. So like,
and they be little freaks too.
What?
They be little freaks.
What you been watching?
You ever seen like an anime elf? I've seen an anime elf.
Oh, I'm dead. Look, I ain't gonna stunt. Just
like you ever watch Vox Machina?
No, I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but just because like
can I pitch?
This is something I would want. I'm definitely giving this nigga 2 bitches though for sure, 100%. I think one's gonna be an elf real quick after you, and one's gonna be a human for sure. Definitely a minimum of 2 bitches, if not 5. Might give him a harem. Who knows? Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Real quick, because I forgot to say this, because I know you asked me about the love interest and stuff. I want to, so I got more characters. The story isn't just based off of Elijah, who's the main character. So I got Jade Armstrong, that's the girlfriend. He got his best friend, Tyrell Foster. They call him Ty in the book. Then he got his mother, Vivian Knight, because his name is Elijah Knight, because he was kind of play on Shadow. Vivian Knight, or Vivi. You got Julian Knight, or Jules. He's he owns a record label and shit like that. His record label is called By Night Records type shit. Then you got his classmate E. That's another one of his friends. And those are and then there's Lola, and she's the second love interest that he has as well, and they're going to kind of clash. And Lola's from
Lola
the actually.
Yeah, Lola Bunny.
So there's also a part that I didn't necessarily disclose, but there's another section to the world. It's called the inner city, which is kind of or the inlands. I'm sorry, the inlands, which is kind of like, you know what I mean, the middle of the inner city and outer, and they're all kind of on a divide because they all live different kind of separate lives. So, you know what I mean, everybody kind of just kind of stay in their area, stay with their people and whatnot. So, but yeah, so I did want to put that in context. So you asked about love interest, so it's definitely gonna get, like I said, my book's like got like relationship drama, friendship drama, betrayal, like the mentor Doc, betrayal. You know what I mean?
sure.
Like it got shit like that where it's like a very layered storyline about everything. There's multiple things happening, multiple controversies. It was a whole bunch of shit.
I feel
can I pitch? Sorry, go ahead, Red, because I was going to change the topic.
Yeah, I feel like my book is going to draw in a lot of audience just because the beginning, like, a lot of people actually deal with, you know, bullying and, you know, shit like that, and the fact that you get to see someone who had like a shitty ass life and then the whole life gets turned around and gets to be able to become like
one second, guys.
Fucking famous and shit, that I feel like it'd be a pretty dope book.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, I'm excited, bro. Yeah, I think we should all definitely take time to read each other's book. But I think also on top of that, I think we should band together and all like just help each other, just get our book out. I mean, and I mean, whole time we can keep this going. We can keep this going. I mean, we put our books out. It goes well. Shit, let's write another book. Shit, because really, right now we're kind of almost covering 3 different genres to where it's just going to, you know what I mean? Because like for me is I'm gonna be capturing more people that just want like that realistic real life experience within the book. You know what I mean? He got like the super like sci-fi type of thing going on, and then you're kind of like right in the middle where you got like a reality, but then you also got that mythical aspect, almost on the Harry Potter-esque type of thing. You know what I mean? To where you got the realism, but then you also got the magic and this and that going on there too. So I think we capture a wide scale of audience just with our 3 books combined. And like I said, us joining forces would definitely be something crazy.
My thing is, like, I'm like, I just want to, like, I know the book. Like, I know it's up here. I just want to get it done. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know I have a bomb-ass fucking book up here, but it's so hard for me to, like, put it down here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm obviously, like, you know, and this is what's going to help me out a lot, doing what we talked about earlier. I don't want to bring it up on the chat. But I'm not good with words. But I know, like, up here, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, it's my ADHD, bro. Like, I know what the fuck I want to do and put and have it and how it goes. But me just sitting down, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like,
Yeah, see me, I'm really good with words. I'm just not really great with grammar. That's where I draw. That's where I'm very poor at. Very poor at grammar. I'm not afraid to admit it.
If I had like a writer or someone like I knew around that, I would honestly pay him to write it for me. But from my
like
words,
you would just give him all of the ideas.
I'll give him everything.
Right.
I don't even want him to have a single idea about the book. Like, if he could just ask me questions, just sit there and ask me. And then, you know, me off my head, you know, I can just keep going. What do you want in this scene? Oh, I want this to happen. Bet, got you. And he, you know what I'm saying? And then I could be like,
well,
all right, this happen. And that's why I said I'm going to use what we talked about earlier to just, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know exactly what I want to happen. So if I could just be like, blah, 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 and then boom. Like, you know what I'm saying? All right, bet.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, can I go real quick? I know you're not big into fantasy, right? And chat bear with
talking to me.
Yeah. Because obviously, Red, he's real big into fantasy. Me and him are both big into fantasy. Can I pitch another book, which I have to preface? I was when I originally started writing the book that I told you guys, I was thinking about different books that I thought would be successful. So I kind of wrote an overview for like 2 or 3 different ideas of books that I wanted to write, and I ultimately chose the one I chose. But can I pitch an idea to you
You can do whatever the fuck
that
you
would
want
be
to do.
more or less fantasy, and tell me if you find it more interesting? Because it would probably appeal to a different audience, and it is, I kind of like wrote it to be cinematic, not necessarily a book. And the
Right.
name of this one, okay.
No, I
The
was gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
the name of this one was
The elevator pitch.
Proven Innocence, right?
Okay.
So the name of this book is Proven Innocence. And so a lot of people don't know, but I was locked up at one point in time for a very long time, and there was a reoccurring thing. A lot of people
Hey, just letting y'all
swear
know
up and
though, we
down,
got 158 likes on TikTok.
Oh, let's go.
"Hey, let's
Let's
go."
go.
I'm live
Let's
on
go.
TikTok
Shout out TikTok.
and I have 0 likes, but I have 44 viewers. So zero drop a like
we
if you're
have
watching on
we
Drop
TikTok,
a
have
like. You
Facebook,
drop.
we have
Twitch.
93
Drop a like,
viewers right
please, if you're
now
enjoying the
and
content.
158
Let's
Drop a
go.
likes.
like.
Everybody in right now. 93
Yeah,
people in right now.
Yeah, we have 93
no, it's just
viewers
how many people
right
Shout
like
out
the
now.
all
show.
93 of you motherfuckers in the motherfucking in the live right now. Shit, I think that's the most we
Absolutely.
had at one time.
Yeah, we have
So we
90,
Absolutely.
appreciate it
93 viewers
sincerely.
right now that are watching us, and we have
Let's
158
go.
likes. They
Let's
don't,
go. Tell us
Absolutely.
what y'all want us to talk about. We gonna just talk shit for
We're
the
gonna
rest of the
talk it.
stream. G,
Let
what
me
y'all want us to talk about?
no,
I'm
let's
gonna
let me
start
shoot
flaming
this. Let
somebody.
me shoot the script, you guys. Shoot the
go
script.
ahead, go
Proven
ahead, go ahead, go
innocence.
ahead.
So I was
All
locked
right,
up,
let's go. Let's go.
and there was a reoccurring theme. Bear with me. People,
Okay.
especially with violent crimes or whatever it was, like fucked up charges, they all say they didn't do what they said they did.
Right. They're all innocent.
It's a recurring thing. It's like
Yeah.
this female say I did this, but I didn't do this, or the white man say I killed somebody, but they couldn't prove it, or whatever it was. It was
Yeah.
always I ain't do it type stuff. And I was thinking about it for the book. I was like, what if there was a way to prove if someone was actually capable of doing these heinous crimes that they're accused of? And I was thinking of like, what if like there wasn't laws regulating what governments could do to people? And then so proven innocence was about like everyone in the book, or everyone in this storyline has some type of life sentence to where they will never get out of prison. And so what the government then does is proven innocence is actually a secret. No one really knows about it, but it's also fiction, right? But it's actually not fiction. So imagine like the context of like one day you wake up, it's pitch black, you're locked in a cell, there's bars, and your surroundings, it's pitch black, you can barely see, but it's disgusting. There's like slime and gruel on the walls, there's nothing. It's like almost an trying to break you down to an animalistic starting point to where nothing is good. And every day, um like you just have to, what sometimes they bring you food, it might be days before you go without eating, and all of this stuff. And in the I'm gonna fast forward to give you the overview, and then try to dilute to a personal perspective. The overview is essentially they're going to try to mimic the crimes that you were accused of, but everyone's lost their memory. They inject them with some type of drug. They can't remember, right? You have a life sentence. You're never going to get out of prison. It doesn't matter what they do to you. So they erase everyone's memory, right? Which is the fantasy part coming in. And you just wake up in some disgusting cell, and it's pitch black. You can't see anything. You can only hear other people talking in adjoining cells. And then every now and then, um like they'll bring you food, but you're almost starving, and you don't understand like what you do to get food. And this guy, I don't remember what his name was in the overview, so just give me a name. It doesn't matter. Someone give me a name. Any name is good.
Charles.
John.
So Charles, he wakes up in his cell, and he's fortunate enough that he has a crazy person, the cell next to him. You never see anyone else in the cell. The only time you ever see another person, um, you will never see them again. Essentially, if you do see
Yeah.
someone, these guards, these keepers, they come, they unlock the cell, they put a bag over the person's head, and they escort them out. Anytime that person is escorted out of the cell, they never come back. So people begin to speculate like you don't want them to come get you. If they come get you, they're gonna kill you.
Right.
You're not gonna live. So there's this crazy guy. He's crazy, right? Mentally crazy, and he's always talking to himself and complaining. And they hear the cells pop open, and he sees the keepers come. They're in all black, and you can't see their face. You never understand, you never know who they are, but they come to his cell, and he starts screaming hysterically, and he's screaming, no, I brushed my teeth today. I brushed my teeth. You're not supposed to come get me. I brushed my teeth. Where's my food? And he's screaming those things. And dude, and whatever you said his name was, what'd you say his name was?
Charles.
Jonathan?
Charles.
Charles. There we go.
Charles. We call him Bobby if it's easier.
We'll call him Bobby Charles. So Bobby Charles is thinking, I brushed my teeth. What is this guy talking about? I should have got food today. I brushed my teeth. And then he understands, like, there's this giant, like, red kind of beam or dot in the corner of every cell. And he's like, oh, this must be a camera. They're surveilling me somehow. But also remember, he doesn't have his memory. He's struggling to figure these things out. So they escort this crazy guy, this lunatic screaming nonsense out. He's never going to be seen again, right? So he's like, I brushed my teeth. I should get food. He's thinking about it. Is like, why does brushing my teeth equate to food? So he gets up and he brushes his teeth, right? And he realizes his portions for that day is larger. And then he does these common things, these human decency things, and he realizes every day that he does these activities, his portions or his recreation or whatever things, it increases more to where it's a sustainable lifestyle. At first he was impoverished, he's living on bare minimum, but if you wake up and you make your bed and you do all of those things, you get more portions. And throughout the book, what they're going to do is they're going to force, so we're going to go back to overview, they're going to force every single person into a situation to try to see if they'll replicate or do what they were charged of doing, which put them in prison for life, to see if they'll do the exact same thing over again. And if they fail, let's say they were charged of, like, it was a crazy murder situation. They were charged with murder. Someone stole something from them, and then they snapped and did whatever. Well, the guards or the keepers are going to try to force that person into a situation where that same situation happens. And so he's going to meet this female. She's charged with murdering her husband because he cheated on her. So they're going to try to force her to get into a relation, not force her, but align her with a person that they do a psych evaluation, and they do all of those things of a male that and then obviously there's a bunch of crime. There's a bunch of stuff going on in this prison. The doors open up sometimes and you'll be allowed to interact with other people. Like, obviously, if you start doing those tasks, you get more privileges and stuff. And so he's going to be introduced to this girl. We know later on that she's charged with murdering her husband, and she has a boyfriend. And then the keepers are going to try to force her into a situation, and then they're going to make it look like her husband is cheating on her, or her husband does something to betray her, and they're going to see if she tries to kill him. If she tries to kill him, that means she's failed the proven innocence project, and she's going to get removed from the prison or whatever it is, this fantasy type scenario, and then she's proven guilty. She'll never have an option in the real world to get her charges overturned, right, eventually. But right now she's lost her memory. She doesn't know what's going on. But the whole thing is tests with scientists and people, and they're trying to prove that by erasing people's memory, we can prove with 100% doubt that this person did said action. Even if we couldn't prove it in court, we can prove that they're capable of it or they did it. And so that's the whole book is following him, and we don't know what he was charged with. No one knows what they were charged with. It's just everyone is getting put in these strange situations. They're being like all of this stuff, and so I thought that would be a greater book. I wanted to write this one first before I wrote the one I wrote, but I pushed this one aside and just kept it as a draft. What do you think about the concept? What do you think about the information and stuff like that? Do you think you would be more inclined to read that one or the fantasy book?
First off, nigga, you are horrible at describing shit. I'm just saying.
I thought I did a good job.
You could have just been like, yeah, it's a book about there's this program where they bring criminals in and they erase their memory to see if they will reenact the crimes that they originally committed. And
but
if
the
they did,
criminals
they
don't know that.
failed. I know, but the people know that. The people you're going to be explaining to know it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean that's sure. But when you write the book, it's from a perspective of the guy that has no idea what's going on. So I want to give as much information as I could, and I do think I gave more information than what I needed. But I was trying to paint the picture of like someone like I don't know. I thought it was a great idea.
I get it.
I think it's a dope concept. Like if you take away like 1,000 of your words and you just listen to like how it would be, I think it's a dope ass concept because that actually
I'm gonna rewatch this.
That actually would be
and see how I said
would be pretty cool. Like you know what I'm saying, that there's this program you could go into. Like say like they could be like they could just go like choose to go into it too. Like, hey, if you sign
no, they can't choose to go into it because it's violent. It's people.
I know,
like you might not get proven innocent. You might get killed by someone, right?
Well, and that's what makes it the allure. So you could be like, hey, I did this. Like I did this crime. I killed someone. I'm going to jail. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, and then someone comes to you like, well, we have this program that if you pass the program, we'll release you. But if you fail, you're gonna die. And the program is you lose your memory and explaining that, you know what I'm saying, which is a dope concept and shit and everything. But yeah, because it can still start as his view because he still lost his memory. He doesn't know he signed up for the program because they took his memory away. But I mean I feel like if you brought that into a new day and age, hella people would sign up for that shit. You get a nigga going to jail for life for murder, bro. And you telling me if I sign up for this program, lose my memory, as long as I don't do the exact same thing that put me into prison, I'll get released? You know?
Well, I think the program is it's essentially for people who like the government couldn't.
I get it.
It's like they don't have reasonable doubt to say they did it or they didn't do it, but like if you did do it, we can't let you walk the streets. If you did, you know, say if you didn't do it. We're gonna put you in this program, and then now we know, type of situation, and so everyone in the program is like accused of doing something that they think they did, but they're not 100% sure. So, but they're gonna go to prison for life anyways. Like I can't, if you did do it, I can't let you. If you're innocent, like oh well, fuck it, you just lose out. But if you didn't do it, we're gonna make sure, type shit. And I felt like it was a great concept. I felt like I was so excited about this book and decided not to write it. It was crazy. So what do you think? Would you read 2 times? Do you like this one better or the fantasy one better? Not the book in general, but the storyline, the storyline of what's going on.
I mean, I liked it, but also at the end of the day, you got to understand, I'm the type of motherfucker that's a put it in a movie type of motherfucker. Like, hey, you read this book? Put it in the movie, but they can't cover everything. Put it in the movie. Like, put it in the movie. Like, that's cool. It's cool if they can't cover everything because a lot of times they use visuals to cover some of the most of the words. Cool. Yeah, you know what I mean? But it sounds like it'll be a dope movie, though, for sure. Yeah. It sounds like it'll be a dope movie. A book. And like I said, bro, this is the first book I actually read, the one that I'm writing, since I was in high school. I read for knowledge, not for pleasure. You know what I mean? I'm reading shit about business and how to structure businesses and these and those things like this, you know, to where I gained knowledge over the years out of high school. But as far as like reading books, I don't really do that. Like this is the first book that I read. Like I said, bro, I graduated in 2010. You know what I mean? First book I read, and even this, if you would have gave me this, I'd have been like, "Is there a movie?" The first question, is there a movie first? I can watch the movie.
Let me watch the movie, and then I'll decide if I want to read the book. But
exactly. But
for sure.
But I mean, like I said, that's why, like, even with this, you know what I mean? It's something I just thought about, but maybe I'm enjoying it because it is something that if it was a movie, I'd watch it. You know what I mean? Right. Just based off.
But give me, just let me know real quick. Which one would you, as a person that doesn't enjoy fantasy, which one do you like, the Battlegrounds or Proven Innocence? Which one do you think?
I like Proven Innocence a little bit
more. If they were movies though, or a book, would you like one more than the other as a book or a movie?
Well, anytime I watch anything with vampires, it was usually like somebody else. I was like, hey, I want to watch this movie, and I was like, all right. So I don't really care. I mean, vampires is cool and all, but like, I don't really care about all the fantasy worlds and shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, so I'd probably watch the other one because I think it'd make a great movie. I think it would you'd be able to put a lot into like into just the movie itself to make it really
Oh no,
intriguing
yeah, I think it'd
to
make a great
watch.
movie, but I still prefer the vampire one.
The actor for this one, I'm thinking the role should be someone like a Vin Diesel type of person, like a big, muscular, like rough
Yeah,
person that's like
or
in
even dude that played what's that English dude? What he played? Not was it not
Crank.
Transporter?
You're talking
No,
about dude that did Crank.
No,
Yo.
that's the nigga
Got
that
the
did
young
Transporter.
model wife. Yeah,
Okay, that was Transporter. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, it was
bro,
Transporter.
right there would probably be good for that kind of role too.
Yeah, no, that he would for sure be good
Oh,
for that type of role. So I got two. So those are my two ideas right now. I have two more, but I don't want to. I don't really. I can't remember the concepts and I can't remember the outlines I wrote. I did write these like what 5 years ago. So
yeah,
maybe 6 years ago. Both of the books, even the book I'm writing right now, the original concept was drawn up roughly 6 years ago, and then Proven Innocence was drawn up 6 years ago too. I just have to find the overview I wrote. So essentially, I wrote a long section of all of the information I wanted my book to cover. And then I sectioned it off, and then it made it easier to say, well, this stuff needs to go in these few chapters and like that. And then from that point, all I had to do was go back and actually write the book and cover all of the information I wanted in said chapters.
Yep.
And that's how it makes sense to me. Other people have a better, probably more
yeah.
efficient process to doing things.
That's how I
So
wrote my
those are my
book
two
too.
books that I've got. So I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish the Battlegrounds first, and then I think I'm gonna start on Proven Innocence, and then once I publish
Cool.
the Battlegrounds, and I finish Proven Innocence, I think I'll go back and write the second book to the Battlegrounds. That way, I have a diverse portfolio. Right? You never know which one is going to succeed. So
Yeah. For sure, for sure. And I tell you what, bro. If I'm still with it, bro, when you write your second book, let me know. I'll write another one too. Fuck it.
You know,
what
it'd
you
be
mean
funny though.
if like my thing is one of us is one of our literature endeavors is going to be successful and it will
Yeah.
encourage the other person to keep pressing forward or big shout outs to whatever it is and it only takes one of us bro for all of us to succeed we don't have to all succeed monetarily but it only takes
Right.
one of us to all succeed because we're all even though we're not writing your book we're all encouraging each other to press
Yeah,
forward so
that's what
Right.
I was saying. Like, you know, it'd be dope and that's what I was thinking. Like, it'd be dope if like we did this, and then we all became like famous authors, and then people were like, "So what made you do?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I started with a bet. me and my,
No,
me
Yeah.
and
it
my,
started with me. I'm the reason. It started. Yeah,
no, it
I'm gonna
started
take
with a
credit
bet."
on
I ain't
on
gonna lie. It started because I just wanted to be better than niggas.
Yeah, right.
Nigga, fuck it. Not really. It really, like I said, with me, it started with Derek being, or with my fault, G.
yeah.
It really started with bro being like, bro, you might as well just do it. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Mhm.
I'll
It's the
do
same
it.
advice someone gave me. Exact
Yeah,
same
fuck it.
advice,
Fuck it then.
and it's effective.
And
efficient.
then for not even that, but like for somebody like me who's like, no, I can do that shit. You know what I mean? I wanted to prove like, all right, I can do that shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, bro, I'm excited, bro. I'm ready to release my shit already, man. I'm ready to hurry up and finish it. But I'm gonna try to give myself the patience, and
Yeah.
not rush it. So, like I said, 3 to 6 months is that a timeline we can all agree on to where we can,
Six.
because we should just put our book out at the same time.
Yeah.
We can
I feel like
absolutely.
6 months is a long time, especially since we already know like how our books are gonna go. I feel like that's a long time.
It might seem like that, but there's a lot of stuff that I think like
Well,
we're not accounting
maybe
for,
just
and we need
because for like me, I only work 3 days a week, so
Yeah, I mean, if you're
me
serious
working
with
on-
it, you can have it done
Yeah, if
very
I'm
quickly.
working on my book 4 days a week, I'm not gonna need 6 months. That's
Well,
That's
see,
correct.
like I said, one advice I've seen, because I was watching people that write books, like
Yeah, yeah.
books. Like I was watching them talking. You know, even they said like, you know, what I mean, sometimes you got to put it down and walk away from it for a
Oh,
little
yeah,
bit, and then
for
come back
sure.
and revise it. So that way, you know, what I mean, you're just coming in fresh minded versus coming in based off the same fatigue that you had. You know, when you wrote the book, you know, then you rereading the book right after that. You know, you're just fatigued. You know, set it down. You know, you might come back and have some new ideas, new spins that you could put in there and stuff like that. So that's why I want to give myself that
Yeah.
time to let it develop, especially because, like I said, this is, I mean, it's not like I'm a book writer. This is my first book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a perfectionist, so if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right.
We could do it when we get off live. I wanted to actually read to y'all some, just like a quick little like 30-second portion of what I got on here so far. But
I can read my first chapter too.
Well, that's what I was saying. But I don't really want to
cool.
put that
get down.
on the live though.
No, yeah, we can.
I'll put it on the live. I'm not concerned.
No.
I mean, if someone steals my shit, I'd be
no, because the thing, it's not about stealing. It is the first chapter is the intro and first chapter and all this stuff is what's gonna try to draw you into the book, and you don't want to already have that out there and stuff. But
shit, just read a different section of the book. Then you don't got to read the whole. You know what I mean?
Well, I only have my beginning. I'm gonna skip the part where he wakes up and everything, and I'm just gonna go straight to the orphanage, just so. Yeah. Y'all can check out what I already have so far and shit, and we're gonna. Definitely want y'all's input and everything. But I'm actually done with the live. We already got that going. If y'all want to,
you ended the live stream?
No, it's still live. I'm just saying I'm done.
Yo.
I mean, we already did our. This live was just supposed to be about talking about our books. We already did all that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we did.
To add,
not really. I mean, shit. If y'all want to hop on, we cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shit. We still got viewers in the chat. We still got viewers on live.
No.
Oh well, fuck them then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying get off video, but definitely get off live because I want to get y'all's input on what I have for the shit right here. But yeah, guys.
We can all share some of our book together.
Yeah, that's
right
what
now.
I want to get to.
I'm with it.
But yeah, so this is the Inner Circle podcast. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all coming out for us.
I got it, bro. All right, man. It has been the Inner Circle podcast. We appreciate you guys coming out with us. Yeah, all the 93 people that came in, showed us love. We appreciate that. If you're watching this at a later time, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Do all that good stuff like that. We're going to keep coming with these bangers. And if you did watch and you want to keep progress with how our book's going, what we're doing, we're going to try to stay relevant on that. I mean, this is the most people we had in our live at one time. And what was we doing? We was talking about our book. So, maybe there might be a trend there. We'll see. We'll explore that, but definitely stay tuned for what more to come. As you see, we're all passionate about what we're doing. And we got this, this friendly competition going on. So, if you want to stay along with the journey, see how this thing progress, see all of us, see the results of what's going on, man. Like I said, make sure you stay tuned in. We're going to stream at least once a week. We're trying to figure out a day where we can dedicate to coming on. But like I said, man, we got lives. We got to maintain our personal life so we can come here, our professional life, so we can come here and spend our personal life with you guys. So we appreciate everybody coming in. Like I said, man, stay tuned. We'll be back live. Other than that, I got nothing else. Anybody have any closing remarks before we get off?
Yeah, if you're not watching this live and you're watching it at a later time and you enjoyed the content, you enjoyed the concepts, drop a comment. We will go back. We will look at the comments. We do evaluate how our production, how our podcast is going. Because we always want to increase, want to bring out beneficial content, interactive content. So it helps if you interact even if we're not live. So if you see the video, drop a comment, tell us what you think, and we'd love to bring it up or address what you're saying in another podcast. So again, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is. And please follow the Inner Circle podcast on Facebook.
Yeah.
On Facebook, allow us to get our algorithm up, allow us to be able to reach a broader audience. And it starts with the simple thing is just liking it. If you watch this far, just drop a like. It's just what we're asking. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, shit, like I said, it's the Inner Circle podcast. We've been your hosts, and y'all been great.